So, finally arrived in Swanage to see Gabs. I'm super excited about this. Not to mention the fact that it's a lovely, lovely sunny day, which helps because the whole theme for recording the Two Amazing People podcast is to find a lovely outside location, which might be tricky when it's raining and windy and all rubbish. So, just heading down to Gabs's house now, and hopefully she is ready for me because I'm on time. Hi Gabs.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Welcome to Swanage.
Go in. Oh, there you go. My camera.
Hugs. Hello.
Thanks for doing this. Have you picked out a nice spot for us to go and have a chat?
I picked the best spot.
The best spot.
I dare any future podcast interviewees to beat this.
Gabs, whilst we're heading down,
Yes.
tell me, what does it mean to you to be nominated as my amazing person?
It's the best feeling in the world.
The
It
best
feels
feeling
amazing.
in the world.
It feels amazing.
Feels amazing.
To be your amazing person. And yes,
And that's
look at the amazing spot. We've even got a boat coming in, especially for you.
amazing. Should we go and find a nice place to sit down and
Let's.
have a good chat? Come on,
Absolutely.
let's go. There's a boat
Go
as
on.
well.
Look
The
at
boat
that.
going past.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Come on then, let's get set up.
Tester, tester.
Louder.
Louder. Hello.
Jesus. Cool. Ready for the clap?
Ready?
No. There you go. Gabs, thanks for joining me on the second episode of
Thank you.
Two Amazing People.
Yes.
I love it here. Why, walking down, why did you pick here specifically? This is not on my list of questions, but I just want to know.
Yes, absolutely. It's fine. We can, add questions to it. So I picked here because this is where we've lived for the last 3.5 years.
With this view.
With this view, I know, the $1 million view, apparently, Simon Evans said, and now he said it's $2 million view, so it's gone up in price.
He's pricing
But
it up.
we've lived here for 3.5 years, and it's amazing, and it's Swanage in Dorset.
Happy days, mate.
Happy days.
Right. So these questions, so the whole structure is that we have 30 minutes
Yes.
only, and I'll check my watch.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, it's exactly 3 hours since the last time. Anyway,
We'll be succinct.
so we have
succinct.
30 minutes to do these questions, and hopefully we get through them all. And if we don't, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not edited. It's not
Yes.
cut. It's just you chatting and me chatting.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Sounds
going to
good.
go 13:09, and I love going into. Right. So the first question is not a
Yes.
slow warm-up one, and it is saying, "Are you ready?
I am.
What life experiences
Mm-hmm.
shaped your belief in the power of relationships and
Mm-hmm.
connections in business?
Mm-hmm.
What has shaped that belief?
Love
in
it. Yeah, love it. Well, actually, it depends how far you want to go, but
All of
again,
it. Come on, we've got
I'll
30
be
minutes.
succinct. Yeah. So I always say that the story of my getting into sales started when I was 8 and working in my parents' shop, and I really believe that is where my entire passion for talking to people, finding out about them, and helping them
At 8.
started. At 8, I was working in my parents' shop, and I earned my first wage at 8. And everyone thought they were crazy, and that's not allowed. Obviously, it was a soft. I was working in my parents'
So
shop.
it's earned pocket money.
Yeah,
funny
I
way?
earned pocket money, and I earned my first wage at age 8 and spent it on, I remember exactly what on a set, a denim set and so on. And I think that just really helped me
That doesn't surprise me.
sell in life,
Yeah.
but by just getting to know people and genuinely learning about them and wanting to help them.
Yeah. You can't beat, I think from a young age,
Mhm.
especially now with kids, that talking to adults doesn't happen often.
Mhm. Mhm.
It just doesn't. And
Yeah.
so as a young person, if you can have the confidence or be in that environment where you're put in that environment to build your confidence in talking
Mhm.
to grown-ups,
Yeah.
I think that sets you up really nicely.
Exactly. And then in high school, my tourism teacher, so I did an economics high school, and I actually studied travel and tourism.
Yeah.
And my tourism teacher opened up my eyes to personal development books. And since 15, that has been a passion of mine, because she would come to every class and bring a different book. Body language, how to be calm, how to talk to people, how
Yeah.
to negotiate. And it was fascinating for me at 15. Everyone thought that, oh, she's not following the curriculum, and I used
I
to
don't
love
think
it.
it's the body language bit. We spoke about it the other day
Yeah,
about body
Cristina
language.
Aguinescu. I want to give her a shout out. Cristina Aguinescu is her
Yeah,
name.
done.
So there you go.
But
She'll love this.
the body language one, you know, when anybody says that they're a body language expert, your body language instantly
Goes, oh, I need to watch my body language.
don't give anything away. There's no reason to give anything away. I'm not lying. I'm not a horrible person. I haven't buried somebody in the garden.
I know.
But
You
instantly you
start
kind of
watching
go, oh.
Yeah.
But to learn about it, it's really cool because it helps you.
Yeah.
Especially when your whole thing is about building relationships and people.
Yes.
That if you cannot pick up on people's body language and those little signals, then you don't know how to, I was going to say control a conversation, but you don't know how to guide the conversation.
Yeah. Adapt your style to suit them, because
just not all vocal.
Yeah. You know? Well, and they say it's something crazy like 55% is the tone of your voice and 38% is your body language, and then only the rest is what you actually say that matters. So it's quite crazy. Yeah.
And you had that at an early age.
That was 15, and then obviously many things followed after that. Many people influenced me, many people mentored me, and so on. Almost too many to mention, but definitely I feel like those really young experiences
shape you.
Yes, because most people just go through education and they don't have any of that, and they get to 18 and they finish school and then they've got no actual life experience. And we had that. And actually in my high school we did proper work experience from 15. We worked in hotels, we worked in restaurants, we saw the real clients, the real life scenarios, rather than this is
the superficial pretendy ones. Do you find that what you learn you're now imparting on your kids as well, in terms of those, I always say like the street smarts, but it's like business smarts really?
Yes.
Life smarts, let's call them life smarts.
In the streetwise. Yeah, I think yes. And living in UK, completely different to living in Romania. In Romania, as we were growing up, the idea was to be the best in class, the best at school, the best at everything we did. And what we're teaching our children now, and actually their school has this as a motto, is do your best, do your best, do your best equals do your absolute best. And I really prefer that so much more. You don't need to be the best in your class. You just need to do your best.
Why be in competition with others?
Because everyone is so different anyway, so it just doesn't work.
Also, just kids as well, enjoy it.
I know.
Yes, do your best, but do things you enjoy.
I know.
And that's a bit, for me, that should be the bit that should be encouraged, rather than, you said, not theory, but
academic.
In Romania, you say it's to be the best and strive to beat everybody else.
Yes, but be the best at everything.
But enjoy what you're doing.
When you're at school, you know, and that's really difficult. I mean, to be the best at every single subject is a bit crazy. But anyway.
Kids. So, another one for you. So, can you share a moment when a partnership you helped to create deeply moved you, when you saw it truly changed that person or the people that you introduced?
Oh wow, this is quite a tricky one because I've done a lot of them. I mean, I do that.
So many.
I do them on a daily basis, honestly.
But there's always you'll know this though, guys. There's always the ones or twos or a few more. Where you just pinpoint. You go, do you know what? That one was bloody amazing, and gave you an amazing feeling. But you know, it made a massive difference for them as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have quite a few that have happened in the recent couple of years through the Hub community, where people have literally said, we wouldn't still be running a business if it wasn't for this. Is the best business decision we made because, you know, we met you and you brought us into this amazing community, and now our business is thriving. And that means a lot when you're running a family business. So, you know, to them, that is really life-changing. And actually, we have the cheesy tagline of changing lives one connection at a time. And that is what we truly believe. But we always say
it's not a cheesy tagline.
So cheesy. So cheesy.
But it's succinct, though, isn't it? There's a guy that you and I both know, and he says, if you can't describe what you do in 8 words, you're not being specific enough. So I don't know how many words.
Changing lives one connection at a time. 7 words. but actually we say including our own 10. There
Right,
you
you can
go.
do that.
Including our own is because we truly believe that it does change our lives. But
Yeah.
I think there's so many, and literally I can't think necessarily of a couple of particular ones, but I think the other way around, people that have really changed our life because of different help that they provided us and different things that they supported us with. And sometimes they've been very personal throughout the pandemic and so on. And,
Yeah.
you know, obviously everyone went through tricky times, and some businesses closed, others reopened, some people pivoted, and different people helped us at that tricky time. And sometimes that has steered our life into a different direction. And every single step along the way, you look back and you think, yeah, I mean, it wasn't nice at the time, obviously, but
No, but it's not, and
with the
people
help of
forget it
those
was only
people,
5 years ago,
yeah,
or yeah,
exactly.
4 years ago, really, because it was a
Yeah.
year long, that period, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think for me, what's more important, you know, so that's why I can't from the top of my head pinpoint the couple, is because we love matchmaking people in terms of what they do, right? But behind what they do, there's always the story of who benefits, right? So, for an example, at the moment, there's a hotel, you know, owner looking to sell their hotel, and then someone else is looking to acquire a hotel, and then we're the brokers in the middle. But actually, when you look way behind, what is happening in those people's lives is so essential to them, and our help means so much. So, but there's a story like that behind everything. You know, if you connect someone for mortgage broker to Darren, or if you connect someone for support with you know, care for their parents. I helped someone yesterday, you know, and it's just completely random, right? But what people do doesn't matter. It's what that means to them, the help that does for the next
And
person.
the feeling they get from it.
100%, yeah,
You know,
and that's why
it's
we
not
do it.
always the result of it that comes out. That might
Yeah,
be a business growth, or it might be something that allows them to
yeah,
step away from their business.
correct. Or
But
spend more time with their children, or
the
go on a holiday with a family, or
exactly, they're the
yeah.
things that I always think they're like the nice result of it. But how they
Yes,
feel as a result of that connection
yeah,
and what that opportunity brings
yeah, and
is, for
four
me, much
years,
higher.
yeah, and 4 years ago, so my first business was travel, and I had a franchise of travel counselors, and that's how I started my self-employed journey, you know, 5 years ago. And the first business was amazing, and I had the best account, and he's an inspirational guy, Tom Camilleri, who's now running Global School Alliance, and you know, I was talking about him just yesterday. And then the pandemic came, so obviously that business just had to be shut down. But I sat down, I remember, and Simon Squibb, you know, we were talking about this
Yeah, we
yesterday.
were.
Simon Squibb, with What's Your Dream, the book, says just sit down and think what you love doing, and what you would literally do if money was no object, if you just literally could retire for life. You know, what would you still be doing? And I thought, yeah, connections is what I love doing. I love connecting people and just matchmaking what they need, their personality, everything about them, with what they're looking for.
Yeah,
And
but that's nice, because
yeah,
a lot of
it's the
people
joy of it. Yeah.
don't find that passion, that thing that really gets them going. And the fact that you've done it and then created a business out of it,
Yeah.
grown a business out of it, made
Yeah.
it a business that suits your lifestyle, because
Yes. Correct.
there's two of you in it, it's a family
Yes.
business,
It's a family business. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it works for
There's
you.
4 of us, you know, with our 2 helpers.
It's your 2 little helpers, but it does, it
So they're
works for
old enough.
you.
I mean, they're 10 and 7.5, so they're older than 8. You know, they need to
You should
start
have them
working in the
working.
business.
I'm telling you, but they're you working at 8 years old, Gab, so
Exactly.
you're behind. You need to get them going.
Dora's definitely doing the branding
She could
already.
have 2 years experience by now on her CV.
Daniel is the financial director. He loves numbers and money. So yeah,
Oh, you've
absolutely.
got it
They're on the
sussed.
path.
You've got it sussed. Well, I better move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched on it, actually, you just didn't go into it with
Mm-hmm.
a deeper story.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, what's one, turning it around, 'cause you do this for others, but
Mm-hmm.
what's one relationship or connection that changed your own life,
Mm-hmm.
personally or
Mm-hmm.
professionally?
Mm-hmm. Again, there's literally so many, but I will pick John Groves for many reasons. So,
and for people that don't know,
yes, for people that don't know, he runs Transworld Business Brokers, the Milton Keynes franchise. Transworld are business brokers all around the world, 600 brokers company, and buying, selling businesses and investment raises. But John, I met John 5 years ago, roughly, and I was just going through that transition of closing the travel business and pivoting. And he was my first client that literally said, yeah, that's it. I want to take your business development and partnerships. It basically was pivoting from travel industry to business development and partnerships, which of course came naturally because I did sales and business development pretty much my entire career, you know. So I had one call with him and I said, this is my new business. This is what I'm going to do. And he said, yep, I'm in. I want a day a week.
Done.
And I literally thought, oh, really? Just like that, you know? And now, of course, that I have more experience, I know exactly what he saw in me. And he knew me for a few months up to that point.
But you need that, though. That's that confidence bit where you know that you can do a good job.
Yes, but you need someone else.
Good job. You know you can do a great job.
Yes, you need someone else to also put that trust and get you
validate
started.
it for you almost.
Exactly. And then the following two were Dominic Marcel and Kulvinder Rayat, who were my number 2 client and number 3 client, who also put their trust, also had known me for a few months. And they needed what I offered. So it was a really good match. But with John Groves at personal level as well, he helped us. There were many transitions that happened in Milton Keynes, with Ben being made redundant and our house came with the job and we had to move, and it was one of those insane pandemic situations where it was all going
just up in the
air. And he helped us with the personal connection, and that really changed kind of the route of everything and so on. So I think with him, and obviously we've worked with him now for 4.5 years, so he's really shaped up how we develop the business as well. And then of course we had other clients and we developed our hub model and so on, but he was that person that just put the money where the mouth is and the trust.
That's that little moment in time, though, isn't it? You can always pinpoint, I think maybe a handful of them, because if you've got 15, 20, then actually you're not looking at the ones that really made a difference.
Absolutely.
And that one there, if that didn't happen, you'd be doing something else. You might be doing the same thing but in a different way or further behind where you are now.
True. And if I am to go back to that as well, it's also Martin Ridewood. So all these people are going to hear the names mentioned. So it was
that's good because they'll be watching.
I know. It was also Martin Ridewood from BNI who, you know, I got in touch with BNI because people recommended it for my travel business before I was even launching the travel business. And Martin saw that potential in me again. Of course, people that are experienced, they just see that. I see it in so many people now. I can spot it within minutes. And he, you know, brought me into BNI and put me on the route of, you know, ambassador, president, launch director, consultant, support director, consultant, and then Daryl Buchanan taken from there with head of partnerships in Corporate Connections London. And that just opened up more and more the learning process, the personal development, the connections. So every single person that you meet at that point, and obviously Steve Britson, who was your number one episode, you know, he was my mentor in that journey after Martin Ridewood. So every single person, this is why sometimes you do have the people that you can pinpoint, but I always feel that everyone had that building block. And some people are still in our lives very closely working day to day now. Other people are not anymore, but that doesn't mean that we've lost that.
But you say that people that come in, Steve and I were talking about that circle of people, and it's the ones you've mentioned a few names. It's those people that have got your back. And they're the ones that will also give you a kick in the shin when you need it. They're the ones that will give you a pat on the back when you need it. They're the ones that just are there for you, and you can bounce ideas off of, and they're not going to go, that's an amazing idea, you should do it, when they know deep down it's a crap idea.
They will tell you,
and you shouldn't be doing it, but because you're so excited,
absolutely,
they go, go off and do it. But having that little circle of friends, and it's not many, that circle of people,
but also they say you need different friends. You need different friends. You need the friend that will always be excited with you and encourage you to think massive, you know, big picture, like we were talking yesterday. You need the friend that is more realistic and says, okay, that's all awesome, but like, how are you going to do that? You need the mentor that mentors you at different stages, and those people change themselves, right? Because you need different people at different stages.
Evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. You need the different networks. So like I did BNI, Corporate Connections, we launched the hub. It's all evolving, right? But every single one has a different role in your life, and obviously some of them also become best friends and you talk to them every day. Some of them, they become best friends, but you might now only talk to them every 3 months, but it's like you've never.
But it's as you say, it's a switch. It's just a pick up and it's straight away, how are you doing?
Yeah, as if 3 months have not gone by. Yeah, exactly.
Should we do some more questions?
Yeah.
Go on in. So has there ever been a time when building relationships, because you make it seem easy, has there ever been a time where it felt really hard? And what did you do? Because people watching this, I hope, will also relate. What did you do to flip it and actually get your confidence back up where perhaps it did get knocked?
So I mean, definitely, I think, well, my confidence definitely got knocked when obviously the pandemic just killed the first business. There's no way around it, because everyone was on the floor. Well, actually some businesses were on cloud 9 because of the industries they were in, that were really needed in the pandemic. But I think because travel was just dead at the time, that was definitely a really critical moment. However, luckily, the building relationships game I started 9 months previously. So, well, actually, no, about 6 months previously. So obviously the pandemic happened March 2020. And then I started the networking game in September 2019. So the building relationships, you say, when did I find it hard? It was then, because going from employed to self-employed is just a completely different story, right? So you come out of employment and you think, okay, now I need to find my own business, I need to run the business, I need to also deliver for the clients, I need, I haven't got these inquiries just coming in, right?
And you're worried about paying the bills.
Absolutely. And to be fair, travel counselors respect, they do it the right way. They actually tell you to have at least a 6-month part, to have a database of at least 50 connections there. Are pretty solid. So they are very real with you. They don't just sell you the dream. So that is a really good thing. However, there's nothing like being self-employed in your business and going, oh, what do I do now, right? So it was hard then, but I just asked other people. I think that's the key thing. So it's always going to be hard at different stages for different things, but asking for help is a really big thing.
And you're going to fail a lot.
You're constantly failing.
People don't quite realise. I think it's more people that are generally employed,
learning.
This is the whole thing. Mistakes
Call it
and
whatever you
learning
like.
And failing, but it's not always seen, and it's that failing bit and having. I always find it, if you were to ask a successful business owner, how many unsuccessful businesses they've had.
100%. Yeah. So many.
And especially some of the really high profile ones. And they'd
so
say,
well,
stories. I had 9. I had 9 businesses.
Yeah, I went bankrupt.
I did but this one, I kept going. I learned from all of them.
Yeah, and this
one actually hit.
100
but it only
million
works because of those failures.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same with relationships and building relationships. You learn what works when you're doing it all the time.
But I think it's just really important to be open to that and actually listen to the people that have done it. That is something that I've always done. So right from the beginning, for an example, I asked other travel counselors, how do you find business? And so I learn it from the people that have already done it, rather than trying to reinvent the wheel.
Or think that you know it already.
Exactly.
That's also the trouble.
A part of it, but you always learn constantly.
You've got to be inquisitive,
right? Exactly. And basically I learned, for an example, that they recommended BNI, and then I embraced the BNI concept to the max, and learned from lots of people how they did it best, then grew the business that way, and so on and so on. But building relationships was definitely the hardest then at the beginning, and that served me right when the business pivoted, because those relationships were already built. I got 3 clients for the new business almost overnight. But of course that happened on the back of everything I built up to that point. And then that constantly happens. The community that we're building now with the GRP Hub, it's based on relationships going back 5 years.
So that's where the good introductions the connections started. It's not one that happened last week or yesterday.
There's no fast track.
You can have a great meeting and they can be a great person.
Yeah.
But to have that ability to make really, really good connections, introductions that are really meaningful is from the relationships from years ago.
And from people that both want that connection.
Yeah.
Ultimately, because
they value one another. I think that's important.
Yeah.
They value what one another can do for one another. It's not a just take from you.
No,
it's a reciprocal thing, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so we're halfway through, halfway through. I'm not even halfway through the questions.
Yeah.
So I've got one for you. Well, I've got more than one.
You've got more than one.
So what does it? I find with amazing people, because that's the point you hit. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
But the people that are amazing don't know they're amazing. The ones that say they're amazing aren't, because they're just floating their own ego.
Brilliant.
And generally, the amazing people put others first, and they want to help other people. So when I ask you the question, what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
Here, in your heart, to help others.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel? What does it mean to you here?
Helping
others.
Yeah, it means so much, but there is a but. I have also learned, as they tell you, to put your own oxygen mask first.
100% you do. You have to.
Yeah, but if you are the type of person and personality that is a giver, is a person that puts others first and really always tries to help, right? You do run the risk of having that empty cup for yourself, right? And it's taken me years to really learn that and to really understand that and to really know that actually for me to be able to help others in the best way, I need to do that for myself first, for my family and so on. And then, like they say, overflowing cup is brilliant, because then you've got that energy and everything to give to others as well, right? So I always thrive on helping others, on connecting others and so on. But especially last year, and I did a lot more research and work around how brains work and neurodiversity and everything. And I learned so much that boundaries are a really hard thing when you are naturally inclined that way. And I've learned a lot more to put boundaries in place. Because before I had none. I had none, and I could be,
and that can exhaust
you. It's very it could definitely be exhausting. So you go from one direction to another because you are trying to help others, and that's amazing. And in time, of course, that benefits everything, because you grow amazing relationships. But you really have to start to put boundaries in place and focus on you having the best health, the best energy, the best business, the best happy life for yourself, and then you will attract the right people that can then help others as well. It takes years to learn this, though, right?
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way.
And it is that.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on.
Body and mind. Healthy body and mind.
Got some more for you. This will showcase your skills, I hope. We'll find out.
No.
So, what do you see in people or potential partnerships? Because that's essentially what you do. You described yourself a matchmaker.
Yes.
So what do you see in people in those potential partnerships that others don't see? And you're sitting there going, this is so bloody obvious.
Yeah.
But that doesn't come naturally, and it's not a skill that other people have got. So what is
so it? I connect the dots. But
how do you do that?
Yeah, how I do that is because my brain naturally operates this way. It's clearly how my brain is set up, and I've learned again more about brains, and it's a natural tendency that your brain is inclined that way and sees all those connections and connects all the dots. Ultimately, how I do it is I just genuinely listen to everything that people say, even though I talk a lot.
You don't. I mean,
no, never.
If we get this done in under 30 minutes,
I know,
we've got,
it would be a miracle. It would be
6 minutes to go.
It will be a miracle.
We'll do it.
So
we'll see.
So I talk a lot because I've got a lot to say, but I equally listen a lot, and I pick up on every single thing that people say, and sometimes the things they don't say. And that's really how I see all the connections. And I go, you need to talk to this person because that might help you, or you need to talk to this person because that might end up into a partnership. or there's synergy between you two purely because you're ex-army, and that just builds that instant rapport between you. So I just see very personal and very professional focused dots, and I just connect them. So it is clearly how my brain is wired. It's not, you know, and obviously everything I've learned over the years, but I've now learned that these master connector brains are extremely rare. And that's who we've attracted now around us, all these amazing master connectors, because they get how we operate.
But a lot of it, like you touched on about watching them or not, you can summarize it in one word: observing. And that's watching and listening. We mentioned about body language, because if you're not paying attention to what they're talking about, and you can't pick up on actually the really important things they're saying
or not saying,
exactly, and cut between all of the filler words and the catchphrases, the buzzwords, and just really pick up and hone in and gone, hold on, something you said there is exactly the reason I'm going to introduce you to this person over here.
And to be fair, actually, and to be fair, actually, what I do have is a really good memory. So I remember, without intending
to. You need to lend me some of that, because my memory is crap.
Things from like, well, I've got perimenopause and menopause to come up. So, you know, ask me again in a few years, it might be different. But, but I remember everything from, you know, years ago, and people I met and people that, you know, what they said and about their child and about their granddad's business. And people go, how do you remember that stuff? That's just crazy. And I just do. It's there. It's a natural thing that clearly some people do and some people don't. But yeah, it absolutely helps.
Don't point at me saying some people don't.
No,
it doesn't. I can tell you now. It's my memory is not awesome.
Well, like I said, ask me again in a few years. That's why I've got a CRM and everything.
I need that. I need something like that.
Yeah.
So here you go. We're going to do another one. We've got a few minutes, Gabs. And the reason I cut this to 30 intentionally is because I don't want it sat for an hour. We get 30 minutes of good chat and not going, another 60 minutes and we're going through. So here you go. So I've got a couple more. There's one that I really do want to ask you. So actually, I'll do this one here. It's a real simple one. Who inspires you and why?
Everyone, honestly.
Specifically, who do you look at? And it might be one or two more.
Yeah, so my family, like I always would put my family at the top because they inspire me in all different ways. I mean, the way I was brought up by my parents, by my grandparents, my sister, but now also I'm inspired by my children and everything they bring from the other direction, the other generation, and Ben, my husband, and my family, of course, is the main source of inspiration. However, literally every single person I meet, I take something away, you know, and sometimes that's not necessarily a positive. I take something that, don't do that, because that's really not.
There's a lesson in life.
There's a lesson
I don't need to do.
Exactly. But I do get inspired on a daily basis by different people and by different things they say or do.
Yeah.
Again, I think that is that observing. You're right. I am very observant. So like I learn something, I take little pockets of information and knowledge, and I always take it in and I learn something
and process it for how it can be implemented into your life or not implemented
right now, because it's like with a book. If you read it a year ago, different things will trigger you, and if you read it now, you might pick up on completely different things and you get different ideas. So my family is always the main source. However, every single person I meet, I always get a little bit more inspired. That's why we say changing lives one connection at a time, including our own. Because every single connection inspires me a bit further.
You get that from being genuinely engaged with people and interested.
Yeah, genuinely loving people.
And not superficial. Just
not like
shaking hands, next one, which is nonsense.
No.
But by being genuinely engaged, and then you can. I'm with you. I believe as well that you can learn something off of everyone. That something might not be a good thing, but you can turn it into a good thing by not doing it.
Correct. So, I've learned not to do that thing because it's not good.
And I was watching this person stand up and saying this, and I know now that I'm never going to say that or talk in that certain way. And that's quite an easy one to learn early on, but some people don't learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why, you know, when you said, tell me specific, you know, it's actually, some people you can pinpoint, and there's almost like too many to pinpoint for
Yeah.
me, but it's because every single person does something,
Well,
you
that's
know,
nice.
on a daily basis.
Well, I'm going to finish on this one,
Mm-hmm.
and we've covered a few actually. So when you think about the impact, and this is particularly important with the hub, I say,
Yeah.
and the ripple effects of the community that you've
Yes.
built up.
Yeah.
So it does start with the founder, the person who started the business.
Yes.
And then you've mentioned a couple of names for the first client, second client, third client.
Sean Payne was the first hub client. Yeah, John Groves was the first consultancy client.
That ripple effect
Mm-hmm.
of this community you've created.
Mm-hmm.
And we met a couple of, was it 2 nights? 1 night? 2 nights ago. And I came to one of your hub events. Yes. And you were beaming with real pride at just a small snippet of the community you created.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that community is much bigger than that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's by far and away not the end of the journey. Talk about
Absolutely
journeys.
not. We're only just getting started, like Sean Payne says.
Exactly that. But from what you've done already and that ripple effect, that community you've built, how does that make you feel?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, you're right. The ripple effect, that's always what we've been about. I get that, you know, I might make an impact on a person just through a connection that I've done, but then that just keeps feeding down and down and down, which of course is the idea of the Two Amazing People podcast, you know. And my two amazing people, I'll mention them, are Vicky Hrobala and Darren Street. And when you first asked me about this, I don't know, a few months ago, I said, without even thinking, I said Darren and Vicky, because the criteria was you trust them implicitly with business, with your biggest client and or your best client or whatever, and you trust them with your children, i.e. you would leave your children with them and not think
you'd feel perfectly comfortable.
Yeah, you'd be like, they're in good hands. Like if I want to go away for a weekend, good luck, good luck.
Just having a holiday for a week.
By the way,
back. Thanks
we've
very
never
much
left them with Vicky or Darren, bless them, for a weekend, but we could, you know. I almost feel it's almost like in an emergency situation, right? The way kind of my brain went there was, in an emergency situation, if you were to leave your children with someone, who would be those first two people that come first to mind? And of course, I've got many on the amazing people list, but they were just the first two.
But it's just your gut. We were saying before, you could write a list of maybe 50 names.
Oh, of course. But it's just your first two.
You'd come back to your first two. Normally.
And the ripple effect, that is the point of the ripple effect, is that if I do a connection today between two hub members, because I just did one earlier today, just a random example. One has a client that needs a fractional CMO. Another one can offer the services of being a fractional CMO, and then you just see that ripple effect. But that conversation could lead to many, many, many things. They potentially get that contract, that leads to them going on a yoga retreat, that does for their mental health and everything, you know, it does change their life, and that just keeps going, right? But I think it just looks so different for every single person. So what success or happiness looks for you or for me or for you, everyone has different happy things, but that's the point. We just exponentially, and obviously the global vision, of course, is GRP Matrix, where we've got this absolute matrix powered by AI, where the connections are match made to the max.
Well, let me put this away, because that is over 30 minutes, Gabs.
I
knew it was going to be over 30 minutes.
Obviously.
So there's an important question at the end, and it's not talking about you particularly, but it's asking the people that are watching, how can they help you? Because amazing people don't normally ask for help, because they're always the ones too busy helping others. So the whole purpose of this, Two Amazing People, is to talk to amazing people, and say, how can we help? How can the people watching help you and your business? So,
and it is very simple. It's actually introducing us to more amazing people, because, and by amazing, we have a certain way that we describe our amazing. So, you know, positive people that are driven, people.
And these are business people, are they? Or
yes, business people. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So people that either run their businesses, or, you know, they might be working for other companies, but ultimately we don't look for industries or for size of businesses or for location. We look for globally amazing people that are positive, that are driven, that are doers and go-getters. It doesn't mean they need to be extroverts or anything like that. They're just really solid people. And generally people have known them for a long enough time to know they're ethical, they're trustworthy, they deliver really well at business, but also they're fun to be around. And you know, we always say in the hub, we bring people in the hub that we would love to do business with, but we would love to go for a coffee or a drink with.
And to explain the hub in a few
Yes.
words,
Yeah.
and I'll see if my understanding is correct.
Yeah.
Essentially,
yeah,
the hub is a community of people that you've put together,
yeah,
who support each other,
yeah,
whether that be business introductions,
yeah,
challenges,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it means,
yeah.
and it's done in a very trusting and respectful way.
Yeah, it's a connections platform. That's the best
Yeah.
way that we describe it. So it's not a networking group in the traditional sense. It's a connections platform that combines networking, partnerships development, business development, and also some face-to-face ad hoc events and so on, because we love to meet in London or meet in Milton Keynes, or, you know, whatever happens, you know, do a whiskey tasting event with our spirit-filled clients in Edinburgh or, you know, in London. And but ultimately it's a connections platform. This is why we actually shout from the rooftop about networking groups like BNI, like Only Networking, like Corporate Connections, obviously a bit different, but still FSB, Westminster Business Council. We shout about them because we encourage everyone to go networking as much as possible, and then in the hub come and leverage those connections in the best possible way. So a connections platform is what describes it best, and this is why it is global. You could be based anywhere around the world because we are an online model. We try to do face-to-face as much as possible. But it is about that GRP matrix that we see developing all around the world, where people just connect for everyone's benefit and challenges, growth for business and so on. So
well, hopefully this helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it will help. Not hopefully, it will help.
Absolutely. And
Positive
look,
it will.
this is why it's so simple for us. Introductions to amazing people is ultimately what it comes down to. They could be doing anything. They could be at any level in their company or journey. But if they have the right attitude and drive and the ethical, trustworthy personality, that's really who, then we're going to love them. Yeah.
Touches now on your two amazing people then.
Yes.
You mentioned their names.
I did. Vicky Hrobela and Darren Street.
Your two people that are amazing, you're putting forward.
Yes.
Just give us a tiny little snippet about who and why. Why are they your amazing people?
Yeah. So they were both founder members in BNI Apollo 5 years ago with me there from the first meeting. So again, kudos to Martin Ridewood and Steve Britson for getting us all together. And we had that journey for the last 5 years where actually we all grew our businesses. We all went through very similar journeys in terms of, you know, the good, the bad and the ugly, with the pandemic, with just everything that was happening. The relationships got really tight, especially throughout the pandemic. Of course, it was just something else. You got to see people in hard times, in best times, in everything. And they were the people that just supported us so much.
Thick and thin.
Yeah, absolutely. And vice versa, us for them, you know, because it is, like you say, always a bit of a mutual relationship. And really, they are the people that not only I've referred clients and they've been looked after absolutely in the best possible way, but the people that I know, they are so family driven, they are just so trustworthy, they are so, you know, those people that you can't have 99% integrity, like Darren says, you know, there's no such a thing as 99% integrity.
You also can't say, I like this one where people go, I'm quite honest.
Quite.
Okay. So
depending on how I feel.
Are you being quite honest now, or
I'm quite honest, I'm quite honest.
Are you being honest? Because quite honest tells me that you're lying.
This is it. Yeah. So, you know, and again, this brings me back to, they could be doing anything. They could be in any industry. As it happens, Vicky does technology law and Darren does mortgage brokerage and commercial finance brokerage, but they could be doing absolutely anything. It's not about their business, it's about them as people. Yeah. Two amazing people.
Two amazing people, eh? We'll finish on that. Two amazing people. Cheers, Gabs.
Have a hug, not a shake. Welcome to Dorset.
Well done to Dorset. So, how much fun was that chat with Gabs? I've known Gabs a long time, and it's lovely hearing about her, a bit of her experience, her journey, using the word journey, and I'm so excited for talking. Now I know I'm going to be going to talk to Darren and Vicky. Darren I've known as well. Darren's helped me in my previous business, and Vicky I've met through various networking events, and I know that I'm going to have an amazing conversation with them. So that was episode number 2 completed with Gabs, and the next one will be with either Darren or Vicky. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you can help Gabs, that's just the point, to amazing people, and make those amazing introductions that will make a difference to her, then please do. And the details will be on the website or social media. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I cannot beat, look at that, another beautiful location for recording to amazing people.